So welcome. I'm glad you're here for this touch point to just breathe, to embody your humanness, to embrace the awkwardness, and to open to the possibility that we are a work in progress, that as long as we're breathing, we're learning. We're learning to live better, in the sense that we can find our way to clearer truth, to deeper knowing, and to sort out the difference between what matters and perhaps what doesn't. Welcome to Just Breathe. We've come together to do just that. Take a few minutes to focus our attention on the movement of our breath as it enters and as it exits the body. Feel your breath just as it is. And I'm wearing the brightest clothes that I have today because I needed a little brightness this morning. Needed a little brightness in my spirit this week. No reason, just the consequence sometimes of being busy, of living full and well, or not well, not balanced. I needed a little extra support. And I found that extra vibrancy in orange and purple. Right? So whether or not that makes a difference for others, those little things that we can recognize for ourselves makes a difference when we give ourselves permission to build support, to build inspiration into our habits. And this is particularly important today because we begin in our coach's chat an exploration of joy. And although joy coexists with suffering and sorrow, it can be hard to see when we're in the thick of it. So notice your breath here, and notice where you might tap into a sense of joy. I inhale and I receive. I exhale and I offer. On so many levels, the inhale is a subconscious mechanism of our systems, the combination of our neuromuscular and our root brain of our cognition, right? In other words, the inhale happens because that's what our body is conditioned to do. And the exhale is our gift to the world. We return back what is not needed. And if nothing else, every time you exhale, you are giving back. So if you don't feel like you matter, if you feel like you have nothing to offer, you're stripped of any abundance, of any talent or gift or abundance, remember that your breath is a gift. When you bring it in, receive what you need. And maybe that is, in fact, joy. Maybe that is, in fact, compassion, permission, or just simply energy to do the things that need to be done for now. As you exhale, let go, offer, give back, just by way of your breath. Sometimes the choice of vibrant clothes, the permission to just breathe, just doesn't shake the cloud of funk. And so I choose a slight smile. Lifting of the corners of the mouth, squeezing of the cheeks up to the eyes. And there is a pharmacy that is released just by inviting the muscles of the smile to work. Sometimes even that doesn't work. And I'm pretty damn good at smiling and laughing. But sometimes I need a whole body experience. Sometimes I need to wake up all 8 senses. Now, maybe you've not heard of the concept of 8 senses, right? We have our 5 external senses that help us navigate the world. The smell, the sound, the taste, the touch, and the sight, right? So those 5 senses. But we have 3 additional senses that refer to how we navigate from inside our body. And in Patanjali's, that is essentially our pratyahara, right? So our pratyahara is turning our senses inward. Those 5 external senses, but also tapping into the internal. The 3, the vestibular, which is in the inner ear, our sense of balance, so that we don't fall over. But could we also tap into the vestibular so that we don't go too far in whatever our convictions and our commitments, an all or nothing mentality? And then we have our proprioception. Does my mind know where my body is in space? We work on this a lot in our asana practice. But the last remaining sense is called interoception or interoception. I've heard it both ways. I think it's intero by spelling. But in that level of attention, it's about knowing whether or not I feel what I feel. Am I hungry? Am I lonely? Do I have pain? Do I have an undigested bit of beef with someone or with dinner? I know that was corny. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to release that. So when I need to wake up all of these senses to increase my access to joy, my go-to practice is breath of joy. Sometimes it's enough to smile. Sometimes it's even enough to chortle, to laugh, to chuckle. But when I really, really get in a funk, the breath of joy is the most powerful intervention to shift. Now, I would prefer to stand in lots of space, but my contraption and cables and lights and whatnot is not going to allow me to do that. But if you have the space, I'm going to lead you through 3 breaths of joy from a standing position, in which case, let me show you what this looks like essentially, right? The inhale, the arms come up as high as you feel comfortable, and then on a passive exhale, the arms come down. The next inhale, the arms come out as high as is comfortable, and then again, they come down. The third breath, inhale up, and exhale, sigh it out vocally. Maybe you even take it all the way into a forward fold and swing the arms back. So it's an inhale, passive exhale, inhale, passive exhale, inhale, exhale, release. Take your time and begin again. So I'm going to do them from here. You may have already started. You may begin with me. I'm going to take the first one slow and then increase the pace slightly with the second and third round. If at any time you feel like that vestibular sense off kilter, come back to ground into your feet. Come back to ground into your breath. Don't push off the edge, right? We're coming back to our centered balance. All right. If you've already done a few, take a reset. We're going to take it again, right? Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Notice. Notice the pace of your breath. Maybe you can feel your heart rate. Maybe you can even hear the blood moving through your strongest, biggest arteries. just notice if in fact it might be easier to breathe, easier to smile, or easier just to be in your circumstances. If you feel content with where you are, come back to a seated, restful place, or join me in one more brief round of breath of joy to wake up and to stimulate all 8 of our senses. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and release. One more. Joy lives in you, and it travels from you to others in sometimes very, very simple ways. A smile, a touch, allowing, in the sense that we give someone else the right of way to pass, or we give an offering, a hug, a generosity of a gifting that is in our abundance. But before we can feel abundant, perhaps the precursor is to feel content, enough. And that word in Sanskrit is santosha, one of our core principles presented by Patanjali in the 8-limbed path. So this poem that I'm going to use to conclude our Just Breathe practice, as you settle your breath and quiet into stillness, let these words wash over and invite you into, perhaps, that ease state of contentment as the precursor to feeling the vibrancy of living intimately with prana, joy, and inspiration. Santosha by Lisa Lowitz. Praise to my hands for bringing food to my mouth. Praise to my mouth, my stomach, my spleen. Praise to the farmer, the soil, the seeds, the vegetables, the rain. Praise to the truckers, the packers, the shippers, the sellers. Praise to the cook. Praise to the potter, the dishwasher. Praise to my feet. Praise to this body, a chariot wending its way along the path. Praise to the steps. Praise to the passenger. Praise to all who came before us, guiding the way. Praise to our teachers, our mothers, our fathers, those who gave birth to us, raised us up. Praise to the city, praise to the path, praise to the water, praise to the earth and the sky, praise to the song. Praise to small things each day, invisible things, recognized, honored, celebrated, become enormous. Santosha. Contentment. Praise to waking up to this. Gratitude, compassion, contentment. They lead us to joy. Let your hands come to rest together. Receive this blessing that you have the power to shift. May you breathe deeply. May you move freely. May you labor lovingly and live vibrantly. well and content. Namaste. Thanks for breathing. Thanks for smiling. Most importantly, thanks for being here. It matters. I know that about myself, to recognize that too much time just in my head is dangerous territory. And I don't think I'm the only one. That's why our circles are so important. That's why having a committed, consistent practice is so important to our overall well-being. It gives us a touch point to come back to. And when we come back to that touch point with attention, we can notice what's different, what's shifted.